Yes, all right. Good morning, people. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to Kosi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi, and in this edition, early today, we're going to be discussing some of the transfer rumors and news around Arsenal. So make sure you've subscribed. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you're giving me your comments in the comment section. And of course, the last people to comment will get a shout out. Those people who comment after the video in the comment section after the video will get a shout out in the next video, like I always do in the videos. So I've dropped a predicted lineup for Arsenal Slavia Praha. I've dropped it, and I'm also going to drop um, a match preview. I hope you guys will be able to catch me up there and try to look at what I talked about in the predicted lineup, and I'll talk much about the game in the match preview. Really, what I expect, what Arsenal should do. How have Slavia Praha been doing in the Europa League? How are they performing back back at home in their leagues? There are so many things to talk about, but join me on this journey when we discuss the latest transfer rumors around Arsenal. And this is a video, or these are kinds of videos we have agreed upon on this channel, that if you feel like you do not want to watch transfer rumors because you feel they're misleading, you feel like they're fake news, then you leave the transfer rumors. Don't click on them, because there are some people who need or who want to be updated, and we voted on it, and they said, you can see, give us wherever is out there. Let us try to evaluate the news stories out there. So we shall do the transfer rumors. There are no doubts about that. If you do not like them, don't click on them. You can click on the other videos, because I have lots and lots of content on the channel. So today we are going to talk about Hakan Calhanoglu. Football.London have written something very interesting about him. We've been fighting him, with Chelsea for his signature. We're going to talk about Achraf Hakimi. Still links of Achraf Hakimi to Arsenal are very, very, very strong there. And Real Madrid are considering a 100 million, because this story, I never wanted to talk about it yesterday, by the way. And remember, when I was talking about it, I was like, it's not a story that I need to give a lot of time. But in the comments, what showed me in the comments, that you people think it is a realistic story. You people think Real Madrid will go out there and sign, Bukayo Saka for 100 million. It's something that I don't believe in, and I'm also going to talk about that just in a minute. And I'm also going to talk about the links between Arsenal and Jack Grealish that have come out yesterday in the night. So join me on this journey. All you need to do is smash the like button, get your subscriptions in, get your comments in, and let us move slowly but surely through the transfer rumors around Arsenal in this episode. So let me start with Hakan Calhanoglu, because that is where the video is focusing. And Football.London have written and said Hakan Calhanoglu has already given his verdict in Chelsea and Arsenal talk after contract made. So what happened yesterday? The rumors are that Arsenal made a contract offer to Hakan Calhanoglu. Just to feed you in, because we have talked about Hakan before. Yesterday we said, Arsenal were interested in the new Mesut Ozil. That was according to HITC, and we said they have a good YouTube channel. I don't know how believable their blog is, but I love their YouTube channel, HITC. They have great content there. But they wrote and said Hakan Calhanoglu is being considered as the new Ozil for Arsenal. He's just 27 years of age, and his contract is running down in the summer. AC Milan would want to have him stay at the San Siro. However, the player is looking at a move abroad. United were interested, and in January there were links that United had agreed personal terms and were going to tie down the player on a permanent contract. However, that didn't happen. So the player is not tied down to any contract with Manchester United or any pre-agreements with any other side. For the past 24 hours, it has been Arsenal and Chelsea interested. Arsenal being interested in the services of player, as well as Chelsea being interested in the services of player. And that's the way it has been. Now, today, Football.London is saying Arsenal are closing in on they have made a firm contract offer for Hakan Calhanoglu, because they said in the summer he's going to be a free agent. I think this is why Arsenal. This is why I believe the story that probably Arsenal could actually go down and sign Hakan Calhanoglu, because the fact that he is not tied down to any contract, you're not going to pay any monies for him. He's 27 years of age, and he is a player linked in a priority area this summer. Because for me, and I've said it before, if you do not get Martin Odegaard, still that doesn't mean you're gonna give up. Still, that doesn't mean you're not going to have other options. You need to have other options. I think 27 years of age, Hakan Calhanoglu would not be a bad deal financially, but in terms of play, in terms of what he offers to the pitch and so on, I think our first priority should be Martin Odegaard. Of course, all the reports still claim, all the reports written around that position still claim Arsenal are looking at Martin Odegaard as the first priority, for a creative midfielder. If we fail to get his signature, if we fail to tie him down to a permanent, deal, then probably we shall go for other options. And the other option there is Hakan Calhanoglu. So first and foremost, for the fact that we are going to discuss with Real Madrid in May for Martin Odegaard, I don't see the Hakan Calhanoglu deal happening until then. But then Arsenal and Edu also know they do not have a lot of time, because you might go, you might want to to wait until May, and then you don't get Martin Odegaard, and then Hakan Calhanoglu has been tied down to a contract, for example, at Chelsea and or United. And then you lose out on both players, because if you remember, we've been linked with Dybala, we've been linked with Nabil Fekir, we've been linked with Grealish, we've been linked with Hakan Calhanoglu, and that shows you how important that place is. That shows you how important the creative space in the midfield is for us. We have struggled for almost 15 games, half a season without a creative midfielder, and until now Arsenal does not have that kind of player. You can say he is our creative midfielder. He is a creative player. The players we have, Dani Ceballos is not is a Real Madrid player. Martin Odegaard is a Real Madrid player. So still Arsenal do not have that number 10. They call a number 10 of their own, like we'd see Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United. It's a priority area in the summer. It's an area where we need to sign players ASAP. We need to sign a player, and that player has to be quality, and that player has to give everything they can. They have to be the best quality, because that is where you're going. That is where you're going to build your team around. And for me, Calhanoglu is a good player. I've seen him at Leverkusen. I've seen him at AC Milan. I've not watched him so much at AC Milan, but I had the chance to watch him for over 15 games at Bayer Leverkusen. With that rising talent that was coming in, the Julian Brandt and the others. He's fascinating. He's good, especially when you surround him with the right kind of players. I think he's going to, he would be, a very, very good player. You have Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who needs, releasing all the time. You have players like Gabriel Martinelli that need releasing all the time. I think he's going to do that for you. He's going to take the free kicks for you, because he's good at free kicks. And at Arsenal, you don't have a player who's you don't have a free kick specialist. You don't have. I was surprised that Cedric takes our free kicks, and the fact is, Arsenal do not have a player who can actually take on that role, to take on free kicks and take on that responsibility. I think Hakan can also help you there. The number 10 role, I think he does it very well. He creates chances, but the only worry there is he's more of a number 10 who wants to score goals than a number 10 who wants to create more, because this season he scored 10 and created 2. And I think for us, what you want is that number 10 that creates chances, because you have Martinelli, you have Lacazette, you have Aubameyang. Those are lethal finishers. Those are traditional, conventional strikers. They are waiting for the ball to score. If you look, if I can read for you what Football.London have written, they're saying Hakan Calhanoglu has already spoken about his future amid fresh reports he could join Arsenal or Chelsea this summer. According to Sky Sports Italia, Arsenal and Chelsea have already been in touch with the AC Milan's star agent ahead of the transfer summer. It's reported both sides are keen on completing a free signing for the playmaker, with his contract set to expire at San Siro this summer and with no new deal agreed. It said AC Milan did not offer a new deal, but Calhanoglu is said to be unimpressed by the numbers, wanting around 23,000 more than Milan have offered up to this point. So the issues there. Now we understand the issues there between him and AC Milan. First and foremost, reports say AC Milan have not offered a new contract, and the side of Hakan says they want 23,000. In terms of wages, in terms of salary. So it's gonna be upon us, because if you're getting a free agent, you could you can afford. You're not going to pay the tens of millions, the 20s of millions. What you're going to do is give him his 25k a week and pray that he becomes a successful player at the club. I would take Martin Odegaard. I want Martin Odegaard. I think he has a big future as a player. I think he has already fit in at Arsenal. I think Mikel Arteta is comfortable with the player, but fingers crossed. I would take Hakan Calhanoglu as well. I think he is a good player. However much I feel I would have gone for another kind of number 10, kind of player. I would have gone for like look at Madison, look at Grealish. I would have gone with with such kind of player. But if the links are there, then probably there is something to talk about. And we have to wait and see whether there is anything we can get out of that deal. Apart from that, apart from the Hakan Calhanoglu links and drama, we have also been linked with Achraf Hakimi this week, I think, and reports are still coming out that Arsenal are very, very, very keen on paying £43 million. Now, the latest story I've seen is Inter Milan could be ready to go for £43 million. And for me, the reason as to why I think this would be okay, it's a high money deal, and many people will tell you, and many Arsenal fans, of course, they'll tell you, what, it's expensive. It's highly doubtable that Arsenal will do such a deal to go for such a player for such an amount. But the reason as to why I fancy the deal is Inter Milan are in such a financial position that they're willing to sell. They're not willing to sell, but they have to sell. That is it. They have to raise money. They have to spend in the summer, and they have to pay Real Madrid. So they have to sell. They have nothing to do else. They have to sell. But the problem is the buyer, who is Arsenal, is almost in the same financial situation as Inter Milan. So not far away from the summer, we are going to start hearing rumors that Arsenal have to first sell before they buy. It's going to happen, and that's what they're going to say. Arsenal has to first sell before they buy. So that's the problem. Are we really that good? Are we better than Inter Milan financially? Can we do that £43 million? Because I think, for me, Achraf Hakimi is. I've talked about him, and someone told me to compare Achraf Hakimi and Emerson. Emerson is playing with Real Betis, and Hakimi is playing with Inter Milan. I think Emerson is a good player. I've seen him. He's having a very good season at Real Betis. I've seen his clips. He's so good. Defensive-wise, he's balanced. But I think the two players are not on the same level. And this is what I said about Hakimi and Lamptey. Lamptey is a good player. Very good player. Nice player. But the two players are not at the same level. They're not there. We've got to accept it. Lamptey is at this level. Hakimi is at this level. And Lamptey has a big potential, big future. He can reach the level of Achraf Hakimi. Hakimi is young, just like all this, Emerson and Lamptey. So they do not have any advantage ahead of him. Of course, there are so many things about his defensive qualities and so on. But if you saw him at Dortmund, I don't think his defensive capabilities are something to worry about. I don't think he's so awful, going, defensive wise. I think he's okay. I think he's a very good player. We could do that deal, that deal about Achraf Hakimi. I just feel we can do it. I just feel Arsenal should do it, and I just feel we can do it. But the problem there is the £43 million. I still can't believe we are going to pay 43 million pounds for Achraf Hakimi, unless the rumors are true that Arsenal is going to have an unprecedented transfer summer, because then there's nothing to worry about. If you're saying that Arsenal are going to have an unprecedented transfer summer, we are going to spend money, and Kroenke is going to splash the money around. 40 for Odegaard, 40 million for Odegaard, 40 million for Hakimi. Why not? I'm taking him. I'm taking Hakimi. He's experienced. He's done it. He's earned it at Inter. He's earned it at Dortmund. He's had 2 successful seasons that have been a success, and he's been so good. He was one of the fastest players in the German Bundesliga, faster than Chambers, faster than Cedric, faster than Hekeby. And I think the rumors make sense, because Hekeby has confirmed that he doesn't want to stay at Arsenal. He wants to go. He's open to a move away from the club. I've had PSG is interested. I've had Barcelona is interested. Of course, if I still remember, Juan Laporta, when he was campaigning for Barcelona presidency, said he would bring back Hector Bellerin, because Bellerin came from Barcelona, and he said he would bring back Hector Bellerin at the new camp. I don't know. I don't know what Barcelona see in Hector Bellerin that Arsenal don't. I personally, as a person, as Kosi, I don't rate Bellerin. I no longer rate Bellerin. I don't rate Cedric. I don't rate Chambers. You know, those people who've been on these shows before. You know, I don't rate them. And you know, now that we are linked with Hakimi, it's a sign. For me, it's a sign of hope. We might not go and sign Hakimi because of the price tag, but it shows that maybe Arsenal will think about going for a right back. And for me, it's a priority area. It's a priority area. Many people might talk about wherever they want to talk about, an Arsenal, however much we don't have a midfield and so on. But the right back is a priority area. We've got to get, we've got to go out there and sign a right back who has sense, footballing sense. We can't have a right back, at a football club like Arsenal, a right back that cannot take a throw in. Hector Bellerin, it's that's unforgivable. Throughout the season, I've never forgiven Hekeby. And many people have told me, because he's improved, let's just let go of that. He's improved as a player. I've never thought about me supporting Arsenal with a right back. I've not seen the best of right backs at Arsenal. Not really. For me, a boy was not there, was not one of the best. Sanya was not one of the best, but they had the basics. Yeah, they had the basics. Now, you tell me we're having Hector Bellerin who cannot take a throw in. It's hilarious. It's just hilarious. We can't do that. We just can't do that. And end of discussion. We need an upgrade in the right back position. We need an upgrade. Let me talk about the Bukayo Saka links in a minute. Thanks everybody in the chat. I love you, and I appreciate the love. Thanks everybody. Smash the like button, people. It really helps me a lot. Smash the like button. I really appreciate the likes because they help me get these videos to more people on YouTube. That's the reason. Okay, let's talk about Bukayo Saka in a minute, because we also need to talk about Saka. He has had a very tremendous season, and for me, as a person who creates Arsenal content, I think it's one of those players that are gonna feel it's unfair from Arsenal content creators. We rarely talk about Saka. Do you realize, apart from match reactions where we are lamenting and commenting about his performances, we rarely talk about Bukayo Saka. And for me, the question there is why? Why do we rarely talk about Saka? We should be talking about Saka, on a daily basis. But there are rumors that Real Madrid is willing to pay close to 100 million pounds for Bukayo Saka. And yesterday I said, no, I don't believe that. I don't believe it. But the rumors are still there, and I want to react to them. I just want to talk about, give my reasons, them. And first and foremost, let's look at where are these rumors coming from, because that makes a lot of sense. And I'm gonna say this. I don't know whether it makes sense for you, but it does make sense, a lot of sense for me. In most cases, when you have a young English talent coming up, be it Jude Bellingham, be it Jack Rodwell of his time, be it Rossi Barkley, be it Marcus Rashford, be it Mason Greenwood, as long as you have that English talent coming up, there is the media, because I think English media are the strongest in, when it comes to this sport. They're going to attach that heavy price tag on him. They're going to attach that heavy price tag on him. They're going to give him that publicity. And I think they're good at branding. They do their thing well. I love it. They're good at branding. They're good at publicity. They just make this image of a player. Now they have just made Bukayo Saka worth 100 million. Is he worth it? Yes, I think he's worth it. And the media are driving this narrative. They're creating this tension in Arsenal and whoever, whoever is interested in this story, in Arsenal fans. They're creating this narrative just to give, more publicity to Bukayo Saka. For me, I think what he has done as a player is enough, just enough, more than enough for Arsenal this season, because we have literally been relying on the shoulders of a 19-year-old player for the rest of the season, for a whole season. He's been creating chances. He's been adding the sparks to our football. He's been doing everything. Literally, Saka has been Arsenal. Without Saka, you could see without Saka against Liverpool, there was no press. He wasn't there. He's playing as a number 10. He's playing as a number 11. He's playing as a number 7, and he's playing as a false 9. He's literally doing everything. I think I'm gonna compare Saka this season, his impact, to Mason Mount's impact at Chelsea. For me, these are the two players that have held the shoulders of giant clubs at a very, very tender age. So that is where the rumors are coming from. They're coming off his brilliant season. And I do understand, and all of us do understand, that English media are going to do that. You remember Mason Greenwood last season? You remember, what was the price tag that was attached to his name? If what is the price tag attached to Marcus Rashford now? So the media do it in England, in the UK, they do it. I'm not surprised. And I will never be surprised even if they say Saka is wanted by Barcelona for 200 million. Because what they want to do, with such stories, is they want to get this England talent and put them up front. The reason there for me is there's a lot of talent in UK that is not, that's not British, that is not from reason, that's not, that are not UK players. So because you look at Kevin De Bruyne, look at Riyad Mahrez, look at Mane, you look at Jota, Portuguese, you look at you look at Mohamed Salah, both players, brilliant players at Liverpool. But no one is English. So whenever there is that spark, whenever there is that spark of talent trying to glitter somewhere, what the media do in the UK is they brighten it. They brighten it to match the levels of these other players that are coming out of the UK. Because for me, Saka has been brilliant. Foden has been so brilliant. They've been so brilliant, but I mean, is Real Madrid interested? I don't know. But maybe because, okay, if you're a Real Madrid fan, would you take Bukayo Saka? Because for me as an Arsenal fan, I'm not selling him. I can't even think about, I can't stand the thought that Arsenal are negotiating to sell Bukayo Saka. Even if it is for purposes of reinvesting in the squad, I'm not going for it. I just can't go for it. But I think the other thing, why this story is making a lot of sense, especially on people discussing on different platforms, WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, and the other platforms. I think the reason that's why this story makes a lot of sense is you're having a Real Madrid side that is having over 7 crucial players, and they're almost 29 years, let's say 28 and above. So they will need a project. They will need a rebuild. They will need a new project. And I think in the next 2 or 3 years, they'll have, they'll need to do they need to build a stronger project. Because players like Modric, who is 30 and is playing like 27, is not going to be available, to give you those performances. Players like Toni Kroos are not going to give you those performances. Players like Benzema are not going to give you those performances. So what they're doing is they're trying to attract players like Mbappe. They're trying to, groom players like Vinicius Jr. They're trying to groom players like Asensio. probably for the future, and Saka could be one for the future. But if he gets another good season, still we're not going to sell him at 200 million. We shall sell him at around 150 because we know Arsenal is very, very poor at selling players, isn't it? But the Saka story. That's all I want to talk about it. That is all I want to talk about it. Smash the like button, people. Thank you so much for being in the chat. It really means a lot, by the way. It really, really, really means a lot. Thank you so much. Okay, we've been talked. We talked about Hakan. We talked about Achraf Hakimi, and we've talked about Saka as well. Let's talk about Jack Grealish. Recently, I think it was a week ago, one of the Arsenal, ex-Arsenal players, ex-Arsenal stars, I think it was Kian, who said Arsenal should put everything on the table to sign Jack Grealish. And yeah, I was like, okay, it's a good one. It's a very good one. And I'm also going to talk about Kun Aguero in a minute. But let me first talk about Jack Grealish. And okay, we all all of us agreed that Grealish is a wonderful player. He's a phenomenal player. Um, and Arsenal would be, we would want to have a player like Jack Grealish, but the asking price of Jack Grealish, because if the media have portrayed Saka as 100 million, how about Grealish, who has had 10 times a better season, actually 2 good seasons than Saka? Because what I think is Saka is having the season of his life. Grealish is having the second season of his life. Last season, he almost got away from Aston Villa, because I think that was, then you would pay around 40 or 45 million, just to be realistic. But then he signed a new Guys, apologies for that. Apologies for that. Electricity had gone. Electricity had gone. You know, this country sucks. It just sucks. But um, George, let me just react to some of your comments. Just some of your comments. George is saying that you are complaining about the accuracy of transfer rumors. Let me tell you, if you've been a football fan for quite some time now, you know, now you know that transfer rumors, are part of football. That's the first thing. Transfer rumors are part of football. They'll be a part of football forever and ever. So you just need to you just need to catch up and get along with it. Whether you support of Manchester United, whether you support wherever YouTube channel, you could just give me one YouTube channel, one like this that doesn't do transfer rumors, just one. I follow AFTV, I follow Troops. The transfer rumors are always there. Okay. Vincent, you said more than 100, more than 14 people watching. Please do smash like button. Help me smash like button. Really means a lot. Kosi, but us no show interest, but they don't buy them. Look, let me talk about this, Peter, just in a minute. It's been a problem with Arsenal for over now some time, buying players and the transfer rumors, because the business model we run at Arsenal is so different, totally different from other clubs. We're not Chelsea, because Chelsea have a different, a different model. You have Liverpool who have a different business model. You have City who have a different business model. United have a different business model. They spend the money. And for us, no, our business model has always been, if you still remember, ever since Arsene Wenger, it has been go out there, sign the cheap players, spot for the quality, sign the cheap players up, and then sell them for big amounts of money. Or if you want to build a project, go and look for the talent that is cheap, bring it, groom it, and then you can build your project. That has been, and that is the reason why all of us should say, we are sorry, Arsene Wenger, we didn't know. Or we are sorry, Arsene Wenger, we were wrong. Because, and I'm going to do that video actually after this live stream. I'm going to do why we were wrong about Arsene Wenger, why we were wrong about, without Wenger was someone who was wrong, without, but actually what Wenger was is, he was a passionate Arsenal manager who was trying as so much as he could to keep us in top four, to keep us in Europe, to keep us in challenging positions. He used to bring in these players because if you remember, how much was Fabregas? How much was Samuel Nasri? How much was Kolo Toure? How much was Song Belong? These are all players that were not 45 million pounds. They're not 30 million pounds. Arsenal has never been one of those clubs that spend the biggest amount of money. I think the problem now is we have forgotten our business model and we have tried to adopt a new business model that is not of our own, and we cannot sustain it. Because for me, I don't believe Arsenal is going to sign 2 players in one season that are worth 45 million pounds. That would be unprecedented, really, just unprecedented. Hudson says, I love the way you analyze our issues, big bro. Thank you so much. Love you too, my brother. Wesley says Hakimi is a very good player. Hakimi is very good. And Angela, you said Arsenal should go for Hakimi. Look, for me, the only thing I like about Hakimi and the only thing I don't like about him is the price tag. Now, the only thing I like about him is he is an upgrade. He's a finished article. That is it. He's a finished article. And that's why I will agree with any Arsenal fan who says, because we need to go for Achraf Hakimi. We need to go for Hakimi. He's a finished article. The only reason I see it as a scary deal to do is the money. I don't want us to spend money, 40 million on a right back, and then we don't spend on a midfield, because we know ever since we've been seeing Arsenal, our football has been built on that model of the midfield, the midfield model. It's the way we play football. When Arsenal do not have a midfield, we're not playing football. We're not playing. And if you look at how many players are midfielders among all the players linked to Arsenal? It shows you. You have Fekir, you have Dybala, you have Odegaard, you have Calhanoglu, you have Grealish. It shows you that Arsenal's model is that, because there are clubs that work with long balls, like Burnley. They like with, they are going to play 4-4-2, swinging those crosses, and they have someone like Wood or something like that. That's not Arsenal. Arsenal is a team that builds play from the midfield. Whichever manager has been at our club, that has been our model. And what's funny is the worst quality at Arsenal is in the midfield. It's funny. Hakimi is a very poor defense. Has a very poor defensive output. This is what we have been. This is what we have. This is what we have been fed. This is what we have been fed. Let me just look at Achraf Hakimi. Let me just look for his heat maps here and show you. We have been fed with the fact that he's a very, very poor defender. But actually, we have to go down to the statistics and look at it and see how poor is he or how good is he. Okay. I just want Hakimi. There's so many things around. But I just want to show you Achraf Hakimi and his heat maps, because for me that makes a lot of sense. If you're saying Hakimi is poorly defensive wise, he's poor. It might be coming from the fact that you think he's poor because he's good at going forward. And for me, that doesn't judge anything. So let's look at just look at this this heat map. Achraf Hakimi 2019-2020 scout report. There. Look at that heat map. Just look at that heat map. Yeah, just look at that heat map. He's not that poor defensive wise. He's not so poor defensive wise. It's not so poor like many people want us to believe. The reason as to why many people say, and of course I know it's a concept because many people talk about it, but the reason as to why many people say and they tell us that Achraf Hakimi, Achraf Hakimi is poor defensively, is because his contribution going forward is more, than his input defensively. And the fact is, modern football with its trends, Alexander Arnold. And if I asked you on this stream, let me just ask you guys, give me one right back who's give me your best right back in the Premier League. Your best right back in the Premier League. Now one of you is going to give me Saka. None of you is going to give me Saka, but it's so good defensive ways. You're either going to give me Trent. If you don't give me Trent, you're going to give me Kyle Walker, Manchester City, or you're going to give me Rhys James, or you're going to give me Ricardo. That is Leicester City. And for me, the question there is, why do you name these players? They're good at going forward, but Trent sucks defensive ways. Many of them suck defensive ways. I think in modern football, it is not how good. It's not how good a defender is. It's what impact you make going forward. If you can add to the press, you can fall back. There's someone who's going to cover for you. But can you add to the press? So I think Hakimi is a good player, very, very, very good, very talented. And I want to thank everybody in the chat. And sorry for that blackout. It was internet, not internet. It was electricity, not internet. So I'll come back and we shall discuss more of the Arsenal stories. I'm thinking of doing a dream Arsenal 11, and I'm still thinking, should I do it live? Should I do it? Should I record it and upload it? I'm not really sure. But that is the next one we should do. A dream Arsenal 11. Who Arsenal needs to sign and how should we look like next season? That will be coming on. Thanks everybody. Smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Before January next year, we should be at 50K. That is my target. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.